What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Spur here. We're back at it in X-Plane this time, and we're taking the C-17 back out. I think this is going to do it for our Flight Sim Week videos. This will be the last. This won't be the end of Flight Simming on the channel by any means, but we've had like a whole week dedicated to Flight Simming because it's been a while. So we're back in the C-17. We're sitting here just short of the runway, ready to take off. We're in, we're at Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico, and we're going to be doing a little low-level flying in this part of New Mexico, in northeast and kind of central Mexico, as far as low-level flying, and we'll get into that in a minute. Let's go ahead and let's see. Actually, yeah, let's hop in the plane. And let's get ready to go. Looking forward to this flight. I love flying this plane. Like I said, it is a C-17. It's the Virtavia C-17 available. You can get it at xplane.org. It is a payware plane and it is broke. When you buy it, it is broke. The main thing you will see when you get it is that the FMS does not work. For whatever reason, the FMS was broke. This plane was done for like an earlier version of X-Plane, I believe. And when it was, I guess, converted over to X-Plane 11, or something happened in X-Plane 11 that broke the plane. And it's no longer supported. From what I understand, Virtavia no longer supports the airplane, even though it's still being sold. So unless you like have knowledge on how to fix it, oh, come on, let's go. She takes a lot of power. She's a big airplane. There we go. All right, let's hold short here just a second, or hold here. And I want to change my view up just a bit. Rotation's going to be 124 pounds. I got like 2.5 hours of fuel. No payload. This is purely a training sortie. I'm not a real-life pilot. I'm not a real-life military pilot. This is just based on things that I've heard other pilots say and things that I've kind of doped out from reading and stuff like that. So, you know, it may not be completely in the realm of being legit as far as real life, but close enough. So anyway, let's go ahead and get rolling. Let the brakes off, open the throttles. We don't need like a whole heck of a lot of throttle. This plane empty because she gets up really easy. There we go, kick her around with the rudder a little bit. I am using the Logitech rudders on this plane. And we do have a little bit of a crosswind for sure. Most definitely, yeah. Come on, ooh, yeah, she does have. She got that big T-tail, and man, she likes to weather vane in the wind for sure. All right, let's go ahead and rotate her. All right, we're up. We're off out of Cannon. We're departing on runway 22. Go ahead and get the gear up. And we'll go a little bit further and we'll raise the flaps. Like I said, this isn't, you know, 100. I can't say it's 100% in the realm of being totally realistic. I'm always open to suggestions. Real life pilots that have better knowledge of this stuff always hit me up, you know, with better ways to do the missions, because I do like recreating the missions in the flight sim world. I think they're fun to fly. They're definitely different, and offer a little bit something a little bit different for the viewer to see as well. Let's go ahead, let's put the nose down just a tad. And we should be able to raise the flaps. We're empty, it shouldn't be a problem right now. Alright, so we got our flight plan loaded. It says it's saved with different air sockets. That's fine, that's not a problem. We got the flight plan loaded. It's a local flight, it's a local training flight. And what we're going to be doing now, you know, we've flown military training routes in this plane before. We've flown a few. We've flown some over in South Carolina, and we've flown some in California. So basically what we're doing is, you know, there's different types of airspace that they use to do training in. There's MOAs, MTRs, military training routes, which are low-level routes. MOAs are blocks of airspace up higher generally, where it's like a big box in the sky that they can do all kind of maneuvers and stuff in. There's some other types of special use airspace, though, that a lot of people aren't familiar with, or even pilots. And one is going to be slow routes, which is also a military training route, but they're for 250 knots or lower. So anything under 250 knots, they can fly on a slow route. And it has to be like 500 to 1500 feet AGL. The fact that it is under 250 knots below 10,000 feet, they're not depicted on any charts that are like available to the public. Now I have the AP1B charts and it shows them all to me, so I know where they're located. We got the AP1B that has them listed. Another type of training area that they have that's even harder to find information on is the Layton, Low Altitude Tactical Navigation. That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing, we're going to be flying in a Layton. And what basically is a Layton is like a MOA on the ground, 500 to 1500 feet, I think, and 250 knots or slower. So anywhere within the confines of this box, they can fly. They can free fly wherever they want VFR. They have to maintain VFR rules, but they can do all that stuff. So that is basically what we are going to be doing. We're going to be flying in a Layton, which is going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to this. Let's go ahead and get turned on course here if I remember how to do it. It's been a minute since I've flown this plane. Let's see, let's go to nav 1 and go to the map. And she's going to turn on course and start flying to our first fix. So basically this whole part of New Mexico, like the damn near the whole northeastern section of New Mexico, over to around Santa Fe. I'll try to pop a map up in a minute because there are a few things you can find. It is basically considered a Layton for the military. So they can fly 500 to 1500 feet AGL below 250 knots anywhere within this huge box, and it's an enormous area. It even goes up into Colorado. There's another Layton that's like basically almost the whole southern half of Colorado. So these planes can fly anywhere within these Laytons, depending on unit rules. So like from what I understand, the guys that are flying the trainers for the Navy, like the T-45s, they're not allowed to go in Laytons, I think. They only can stick to published routes like MTRs. But your bigger planes, C-17s, definitely C-130s, planes like that, they can fly within the confines of a Layton. A-10s are also another type of aircraft that love to hang out in Laytons. So the trick about the Laytons is the fact that, like I said, they're not published. You know, you won't be able to find any kind of published information about a Layton. Usually the only published information you'll see for Layton is like unit specific. So they may have their own charts or their own information that tell you the confines of the Layton. But Joe Schmo, you know, a civilian pilot out there won't see anything that tells them where the Layton is at. So, you know, it goes with that whole see and avoid. I guess the military's perspective is, well, we're flying VFR, it's under 250 knots. It shouldn't be a problem. It's the same as any other airplane, right? And, you know, the only thing is the Layton allows them to fly really low to the ground. So, it's pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting stuff. And a lot of, you know, I've seen some pilots say that Laytons are where it's at. They like the mission planning that it goes along with Laytons, where they can plot their route exactly how they want it, through the mountains, through the valleys, whatever, and they're not confined to like a hard course. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to fast forward a little bit here, and we'll pick up in a bit and start our flying. All right, so we're coming up on our first fix for the Layton that I plotted out. I plotted it out in SkyVector and imported it or took it over to SimBrief and then got it into the sim. That way is the company flight plan. Our first entry point is going to be the Ute Reservoir right here, just outside of Tucumcari, New Mexico. It's within, you know, of course, it's within the confines of the Layton. And we're going to basically fly this up to, basically up towards, what is this area called? Just to the west of Clayton, New Mexico. We'll go around Mount Capelin, or the Capelin Dormant Volcano, Mount Dora, those areas, and then head back to the kind of the west-southwest towards Las Vegas, New Mexico, and then back to, let's see, our last waypoint will be, let's see, is this Conchas Lake, and then back to Cannon, and that's basically going to be the route. So it should be pretty interesting to be able to free fly it. We should be able to do like basically whatever we want, as long as we stay 500 to 1500 feet AGL and below 250 knots, which we're busting a little bit right now. But good thing about getting so low to the ground is ATC may not be able to track that, right? So basically look at it as just like VFR flying for military aircraft. I mean, in its most basic form, that's what it is. Which I think is pretty cool how they're able to do that. Let's see, radar altimeter is showing 1,570 feet AGL. Let's keep going a little bit. We'll get the speed brakes out. There we go. All right, a little better. Such a big airplane, it's a little bit difficult to control the speed, but we're about 700 feet off the ground, 250 knots, and yeah, we'll just cruise along. We'll just cruise along and enjoy the scenery. We'll probably do some time acceleration and stuff like that to skip through this so we get to some of the interesting parts. But this is going to be the basic gist of this now. I'll be honest with you, I'm really looking forward to doing this in Microsoft. I think Microsoft's a lot better suited for this because the scenery is so incredibly accurate and realistic. I mean, it just looks absolutely amazing, but unfortunately we don't really have anything we can do this in right now. You know, we get the T-45 that's being worked on, the Goshawk, that will allow us to fly a lot of MTRs all over the country. As soon as that plane is done, but until then, well, there is the F-15. You know, you could do some stuff in it as well, but there's not a lot of options as far as that, for sure. Alright, so we're coming up on our second fix, our second turn point. It's going to be just a little bit to the west of Mount Dora. It's called Mount Dora, but it's really just not that impressive. In the you know, in the map, it's not nearly as impressive as it looks on the sectional. I'm not sure what this other little peak is over here on the other side. We're basically flying right between the two peaks. And we're carrying along at about 250 and change. It's actually, it's kind of surprising. It's a little bit hard to like keep it right at 250. We had a wind shift change. The wind changed on us, and that really kind of messed with our airspeed, but we got it back up to around 250. Like I said, this low, I don't think they're probably going to split hairs on a few knots. I mean, how are they going to know? You know, the FAA wouldn't be able to track them down this low. The radar wouldn't be able to pick them up for the most part. So, you know, as long as we keep it within reason. So now we're carrying on to fix number 3, and that's going to be just north of Des Moines, New Mexico. And I don't know what this mountain peak is. I wish it had the name on it. But we're going to swing around this big mountain peak. It's kind of behind the post of the windshield right now. We'll swing behind it and then pass between it and Mount Capelin, which is a dormant volcano up here. It's actually a park you can go to and check out. It's supposed to be pretty neat. We've never been up there ourselves. You see, we done got slow again. But it's supposed to be really neat to check out. So we'll just cruise along. We're just cruising at a nice leisurely pace, and because we're not on like a technical published route, we can kind of freestyle it as much as we want, as long as we get from point A to B. So you could do some turns and some jinking and stuff like that, and whatever you want, as long as you hit your turn points. It doesn't really matter, you know. There's a really cool video on YouTube of a C-17 doing a low level in Colorado, and as they fly over certain landmarks, they name off what they are. And so I went into sectional, and I was really interested as far as like what they were doing, what they were flying up there. I went into sectional and I followed along each of those landmarks that they called out in order, and there were no military training routes anywhere in that area that they could have been flying that was taking them the way they were. So I'm just about certain they were flying a Layton. That's what they were doing. They just followed they planned their own route and flew the Layton. And we got a little bit below there. Get up just a tad there. Got below 500 feet, so we'll climb a little bit. So I feel like they flew a Layton. And also in the video, even though it's sped up, it's done in time lapse, you can tell that they're not going very fast. They're not going very fast at all. So I'm almost certain they were flying the big Layton in Colorado and just planned out their route that way. So either way, it's really cool to watch. Cool video, beautiful scenery that they flew through. So that may be, you know, one of the next trips we make in the C-17. We may do that. I may kind of go back and plot kind of roughly how they did it, and we fly that route. And it was neat that they didn't, like at the start of the video, it was obvious it wasn't a military airbase they flew out of. It's like a public use airbase, which isn't unheard of. So evidently they flew to some public airfield up there that could accommodate them, laid over, and then flew the Layton. You know, if you watched CW Lemoyne, if you watched his recent helicopter flight training videos that he started back doing, he's flying out of like New Orleans Executive, taking his lessons out of there, and lo and behold, there's a C-17 sitting on the ramp of the airport there that they were laying over for some reason. So it's not unheard of. It's not out of the realm of possibility to see that kind of stuff. And they're, you know, as far as the military pilots are training, they're flying their hours. There's certain things that they have to get in, I think, every month. And, you know, I don't know the exacts on it, just kind of basically that they have to do, you know, they have to accomplish certain things. And I think this kind of flying is part of it, cross countries, things of that nature. So either way, it's fun stuff, and it's going to be amazing, absolutely amazing in Microsoft with that beautiful scenery. I can't wait. I wish we had something, I wish we had this C-17 in Microsoft. I think it would be amazing to have and to be able to do that. All right, we're fixing to come up to our next turn point, and then we will head almost due west, kind of southwest actually, and go by Mount Capelin if we can pick it out. We've gotten low again a little bit. This is all hand flown, and I like it because it does help you really get the feel of a that's Mount Capelin right there in front of us. So there you go. We got to fly between it and the other peak over here. It helps you get the feel of the aircraft. It really does. All right, there's the other peak off to the left there. It helps you get the feel of the aircraft. As far as what it's doing, it helps you get the feel of this particular airplane which flies a lot differently than most other aircraft that I've flown in Zibo, and it also helps get just the general feel of flying a bigger aircraft. You know, like I said the other day in my last live stream, I felt really out of practice as far as my flying, and I didn't feel very comfortable, and that's really kind of rare for me. Usually I feel really at ease and comfortable flying, doing just about anything, but on that particular flight I didn't. So this is going to kind of help me just do some good hand flying and get used to it again. There you go. There's the other big peak. We're flying between that and Mount Kaplan. Let's see, Mount Kaplan is right there. You can tell what it is, but it's not very accurate as far as how it looks, you know, with the kind of generic scenery. But either way, we found our turn point. Now, I was reading on a forum. There's some forums out there that's specifically for military pilots, and you can read and follow along what they're saying. They're talking about Laytons and that they basically love flying them and having that ability to free fly wherever they want. And one of the A-10 drivers was talking about their turn points was like the dead cow in the wash. You know, they would fly until they saw a wash and it had a dead cow in it, and they would turn. That was how specific some of their waypoints were. So it was really interesting to read that and follow along. All right, so we're carrying along. We're actually flying under the Mount Dora North high and low MOAs, so they would be directly above us. I don't know what the floor of them is, how far down they go. Some of them can go pretty low, and some of them don't. It just depends on that particular MOA. Got a really cool wash over here. I didn't see it till the last minute. We could have flown up. That would have been fun. But yeah, we can just, we can pretty much do what we want. As long as we kind of follow along our waypoints that we plotted out, we're good. So it gives you the ability to really do a lot of free flying, and that's absolutely a lot of fun. We got some traffic out there. Don't have to worry about them though. Speed is the hardest part by it. It's like, this is such a big airplane. If you descend just a little bit, your speed picks up like crazy. If you climb just a little bit, it drops off. And I'm not using the auto throttle. The auto throttle is a little bit reactionary in the plane. Like I think it overreacts. It's constantly throttling up and down instead of being more smooth. So I'm doing all this is by hand. The flying, the throttle, everything is completely by hand. We're coming up on turn point 4 here. We'll turn off of point 4 and head to our next one, which is going to be down around. I'm looking. There's not a name. It's a particular peak I'm flying for. There's not a name on it. Yeah, nothing to really to give a sense of like where we're going, other than the map. Like the map and the waypoints is what we have, but. Alright, so we're heading towards turn point 6. We'll have turn point 6, or a fix number 6, and then we'll have our exit, and then that'll be it. We'll be done with our low level. Really need to do the one in Colorado, but doggone it, I just want that. I want to do it in Microsoft. I don't know how that's going to be possible. So anyway, I want to get back to the plane. Like I said before, this is the Virtavia C-17. It is payware. It is broke. It's pliable. If you buy it, it's pliable, but you just won't be able to get the FMS to work, and you have to go in the plane maker and adjust it, you know, change some things and get the FMS to working. Also tweak the bypass ratio on the engines was wrong, and I did some things to the flaps, I think, to improve the stall. And this is all stuff that I saw. It was on a forum post where a lot of people were kind of brainstorming as far as things that they could do to make the plane better since it's no longer supported. So that's basically it. I've had a few users say something about doing a video as far as how I fixed the airplane and got it working. And yeah, I could do that. The problem is I'm going to have to put the base stock plane back in the sim and look at it and go through the motions as far as like how I did it. I did it twice. The first time I did it, I didn't do it correctly, and I started over and did it the second time, and I got it to work. And I'm not exactly sure like what I did between the two processes to get it to work with FMS, but the other stuff was easy. The other stuff was just you know, find it, change it, and you're good. But the FMS took a little bit of work. Alright, so we're coming up on our exit point for our Layton, our plotted route that we're flying, and it's going to be Conscious Lake. Right here directly in front of us, got a little ridge line there, and after we come off of it, we'll climb up a bit and then just basically cruise back to Cannon Air Force Base. We'll still stay under 250 knots, you know, we'll do everything like we've been doing it. We'll just fly at a lot higher altitude, a few thousand feet off the ground, as opposed to 500 to 1500. So there we are. There's Conscious Lake. You can see should be an airport just right off the probably about over there, about 11 o'clock, something like that. So we'll go ahead and start climbing up. Let's see, what do we want to cruise back at? We'll get the autopilot going again. And the auto throttle, we'll take nav hold off, we don't want that. And I guess we'll climb to 8,000 feet. And we need to do our heading here. The plane went on nav mode, now it's got her in a turn. We'll need to go back on a better course here, do heading hold, and let her turn back the other way. There we go. Alright, so we'll cruise back to Canada about 247 knots, 8,000 feet. And, you know, from what I understand, like, coming off of that, we could technically, I think, fly VFR back to Cannon, or we could do an IFR pickup back to Cannon as well. I don't really know for certain how they would do that. It'd be interesting to find out. I do know they do IFR pickups coming off of MTRs, but you know, it's hard to say for sure exactly what they would do. So we're about what, 70 miles outside of Cannon, so we'll cruise back. Probably what we'll do when we get to Cannon is we'll do a few touch and goes as well. We'll be landing on runway 22, so we'll do a few touch and goes. Let's see, field elevation is 4,295 feet, so we'll call it 4,300, and turbojet pattern altitude we'll say 1,500, so that's 5,800 feet is what we'll need to do for the pattern. A lot of times that can vary. I mean, generally it's like 1,000 for you know, regular traffic pattern and 1,500 for turbojets, but it varies, you know, base to base, it kind of varies. So 1,500 feels pretty good to me as far as flying the pattern in a big aircraft. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be there shortly. All right, so we're coming into Cannon. We're starting to make our turn to final. We'll slowed up 220 knots. Our initial approach fix here is what is it called? Heck D. Guess that's what you would call it. We're basically gonna be tracking the route for the ILS. We're not gonna be flying the ILS. It's beautiful weather, so we're basically just using it to kind of guide us in a little bit, and go ahead and slow the speed back a bit as well. There we go. And we'll do at least one touch and go, maybe a few more. We'll see as we get there. This is a big plane. She takes a bit to slow up. You can see the airspeed's just kind of slowly rolling off. And we can see Cannon out there in the distance. Cannon used to be a big F-111 base back in the day, and man, they burned up the low levels in this part of New Mexico and Colorado and stuff. In the F-111s and the EF-111s and stuff like that. Of course, the F-111s are long gone, have been for many years. And now it's like a special operations base, like they have Osprey there. And yeah, we just flew through the center line just a tad. Alright, so anyway, yeah, Osprey, C-130s, aircraft like that. I think drones as well fly out here, so you know, pretty cool operations. Definitely not the F-111s though, which were just absolutely amazing aircraft for what they could do. Alright, I guess it's a little better there. Let's go ahead and let's kick off the auto throttle, the autopilots, and I think I've got her trimmed up about where I want it, and we'll just hand fly her in the rest of the way. We'll let her slow up a tad. We'll get some flaps. Need to raise my view just a bit. And one of the other things I did to this aircraft that really helped me out a lot was add the vertical speed indicator down there on the HUD. You can kind of see it just below the artificial horizon there. It had a digital readout. The digital readout was really hard for me to judge. Let's go ahead and get some flaps. So I added the regular vertical speed indicator, and that helps immensely as far as like figuring out what the plane's doing, how it's reacting, and how it's climbing. It gives me a lot better visual indicator than just some numbers. Alright, let's go ahead and get our gear. Small runway. Not the biggest runway, that's for sure. And let's get it down. Let's see what our VREF's going to be 124 knots on this plane. We do have a crosswind, 17 knot crosswind, so pretty stout. Like I said, this plane does fly, it flies differently for sure. Let's see, we're at flaps 50, let's go flaps 75. She likes to sink a lot. Most definitely. If I can get on the approach there. You see she's sinking now. I also turned off the bitchin' Betty on this plane. That was one of the other things I did, especially for like low-level flights. A lot of power here. Got really slow all of a sudden. And let's go ahead and go full flaps. That's another thing about this plane. She's got those big flaps coming off the wings. Takes a lot of power once you get the flaps down. Been a while since I've landed her, so we'll see how this goes. Especially that crosswind keeps pushing us over. Man. A little bit slow again. Alright, VREF at this speed, at this flap setting is going to be 117. There we go. Looks like we're on it now. Heard they flare with power. I don't know how true that or accurate that is, but I've heard that, so we'll try it and see. There we go. We're down. We're back up. We'll climb to 5,800 feet. Alright, gear up. Flaps are coming up to 25, so that's good. You hear those engines growling. Nice sounding airplane. Alright, so we're going up to 5,800 feet. We'll keep flaps 25 down for the pattern. We'll do like 190-ish knots. And we're turning for a course of, oh, what's our other heading here? 038, what we're going to be looking for. There, we're starting to get on it there. 40 is good enough. Speed's alright, that's not horrible. Give her a little more power. Love doing pattern work. I'll say it a million times. It's one of my favorite things to do. Next to flying VFR in Microsoft. Airspeed still wanting to bounce around a little bit there. Alright, we're beating the numbers. Go ahead and drop the gear. Hit flaps 50. Pull power back. And we'll start our descent. She's wanting to balloon on me with those flaps coming down. He likes to balloon, so you have to be prepared for that on this plane. And we're looking for a heading of 225. Make sure we don't sink too much in the turn here. And try to keep a lookout for the runway. It's not easy doing single pilot operation even in a sim. It's like really super hard. Not easy at all. Keep the turn going. Looks like our descent's okay. Alright, let's get flap 75. She's wanting to sink big time on me now. This is where we'll get too low. If we get low, this is where it'll happen. All right, you see we rolled out a little, definitely too early. We'll have to dogleg it a bit. All right, gear down 3 green. We'll hold off on flaps for a second here. Yeah, I don't like that rollout. That rollout was bad, but we have to go with what we got. All right, go ahead and go full flaps. Like we're actually already at full flaps. No, we're not. There we go. We're going to it now. All right, VREF's 117. We're gonna do a little bit above that. And turn it on around. There we go. A little bit high. So hard. These tight patterns in these big aircraft, really any aircraft. It's not easy. You know, when you roll out and there's power getting low. And that wind is really pushing us over. Like, I don't know if we're gonna make it on this one or not. 21 knots now. A little bit slow here. Alright, there we go. We don't have our call out, so that's one thing that kind of sucks. Getting rid of Bitch and Betty was that we don't get our call outs. Oof, that was a rough one. Alright. There we go. Back up. We'll do one more. We'll call it because this wind is a bee. It's a beast. I'm telling you, gear up. Flaps should be on their way to 25. Get the climb going. She's wanting to settle on me a little bit. It's been a while. I literally, I feel better when I do a lot of pattern work. And I'm most definitely very rusty at it. Alright, keep her going. Need to descend a little bit more. We maybe just a tad high. We're about to shallow it out a bit. Go ahead and go full flaps. Add some power in. And that power in, she wants to balloon with those big flaps. Got those blown flaps to help with her landing speed. We got the 21 to 23 knot crosswind. Yeah, we're about to dogleg it just a tad, but that'll be alright. Until we may be a little bit high. Maybe a tad. Alright, VREF's 117 still. That's the cool thing as you do more and more touch and goes. Like the more circuits you make in a trip, it'll go down lower and lower. I think I've seen it get down to like as low as 109 in this plane. I don't know how accurate that is. Like I said, that information isn't readily available, but it's pretty cool when it gets that low. Feels like you're basically sitting still coming in for a landing. Alright, still high. There are full flaps, gear down 3 green. We'll make us in a full stop. They're getting low. Full power. Hard to tell because that damn HUD. Jacking with us, jacking with my view there. Alright, kick it around. There we go, we're down. Come on, come on. Forgot what my keybind was on my joystick for our reversers, and I'm not going to fumble around for it to try to get it to work, so we'll just do it without. Be all right. All right. There we go. We made it. We're down. Welcome back to Henning, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let's get the flaps up. Let's ease along here. Oh yeah, we got to get our spoilers in as well. Reversers are deployed. I didn't realize that. I don't have the engine display up, so I couldn't really tell what was going on with them. But all right, let's get spoilers in. Flaps up. Reversers back in. There we go. Now we're good. Told you it's been a while. Been a while. We're gonna be doing some more in this plane though. That crosswind in it though, man, that huge tail, woof. She's rough in a crosswind for sure. I mean, this plane basically has tail for days. I mean, look at that. There we go. All right, we're clear of the active. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. It's greatly appreciated. It helps the channel grow, lets me get an idea of like what y'all enjoy and want to see and all that good stuff. With all that said, we will catch you in the air next time. Peace.